The next couple we've got are a beautiful couple. They're amazing people in their own right, individually as well. And you know what I love about these guys is just their determination, their vision, their passion. It's just simply extraordinary, and I know that you're going to take a lot out of this next session. So please put your hands together for Melissa and Phil Fisher. I know you're going to love them. Give a big warm welcome to the stage.
Sit right down, honey, let your hair hang down. Walk right in, sit right down, honey, let your hair hang down.
How are you, Phil? You ready for this?
Nervous.
Nervous, are you? Well, have you got a microphone?
Ooh.
No. Oh, I didn't grab one.
I'm slacking off.
You have some microphones. What are you doing there?
Are you right? Yep.
I'm good. All right. So, yeah, you can sit down if you'd like to sit down. That was one of the conditions I got him up here, was we gave him a chair. So, tell us how you ended up in I Love, in the whole community.
Okay, it was easy for us. We were looking for something different. We wanted time, we were both overloaded with work, and we were looking for something that gave us time and something different. And you popped up on my computer screen. That was it. So I signed us up and said to Phil, hey honey, we're going. We're going to go and see this woman in Melbourne. And it was a stinking hot day. It was a Sofitel, 40 degrees, and you were there.
Right. How'd you go? You said, okay, we'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just follow, and yeah, here we are.
What do you guys do for a living?
I used to do bookkeeping and a bit of business restructure. I had about 23 clients, so I worked 7 days a week. And Phil was transport.
Are you going to say used to or not?
Used to and what?
What do you do?
I used to be, before I got here, I was a truck driver. I was
going to see whether he actually said, I'm a truck driver or I used to be a truck driver, because he's finding it very hard to give up the trucks.
No, I've given up the trucks. Yeah. I've got one.
See?
Hold on. He's sold them twice, right? He's sold the business twice now, and he's down to one.
I've kept one because I've promised the driver.
Okay, so the driver that we've got is amazing. He's a young kid, young family, really, really nice guy. He's also a chippy, so he comes out on site with us and he helps us out. He gets torn between building and driving because he loves both, so we're able to give him that. So Phyllis said to him, in 2 years' time, maybe 12 months, we'll see what happens. We'll give him the truck, and providing he stays and does work for us as well, he doesn't get off scot-free. But that's where the last truck that we've got will end up going. We'll go to Adam.
We'll give it to Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So when you first started, which was what, in February of 2014?
That was the one day, February 2014. Our first event was the April boot camp in Melbourne.
You had a number of properties though when you first started, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did. We had everything wrong.
We had 3 properties in one trust. It was good. You thought you were doing the right thing there, didn't you?
We thought we were then, yeah, absolutely. We'd had a lot of great advice. Yeah.
And properties in your own name.
Yep. Negative gearing.
Super fund set up wrong. Yep. Negative gearing. 80K? 80 grand negative gearing. Whoa.
That was my fault.
What had happened is we'd got some, well, I'm going to say we, at that point it was Phil, got some advice from an accountant. Well, I wasn't even with him then, right? So
we weren't together then. I was on my own.
But he had bought these blocks of land, and it was in an industrial area that was supposed to be amazing. It was going to do just amazing things, and it never did. And the land at the time was valued quite high, so it looked good, but nothing was happening with it, and council just wouldn't approve anything at that stage. So it was costing a lot of money every year, but because we were in business, it got absorbed, and it got absorbed by way of we rented it off ourselves, and we did all sorts of creative things. So you forget about it. You forget that it's actually coming out of your pocket. And I'm anti-negative gearing to the hilt, but it just happened, and it ticked away for a long time.
So your starting position there is you got a superannuation fund obviously there. You've got equity in things, so the money out of super. You've got equity there to go. Are they positives or negatives then?
What ones?
So your profit or loss? Oh, there we go at the
Yeah,
end.
at the
So we're
end.
negative,
Negative 80.
we're negative, we're negative, we're positive, we're positive, we're negative.
Okay.
80 grand negative. Okay. It's all right. That's our starting position. So
Was
what
what it
action
was.
did you take?
Well, first we went to the boot camp. Right, and we learned everything that we'd done wrong, and we're sitting there going, "Yep, done that. Yep, well, we've done that too. Oh shit, we've done that." So we had a lot to change. But the starting point was, well, we've got things, and we've got something to start with. So let's fix what we've got first. Right? And we didn't have to go far. We had some little country Victorian properties, so it was reno, and very superficial, very quick in and out. We pulled in the big guns, mum and dad, right? Pack them up in a car and off to outback Victoria for weekends. We did a couple of weekends in a row. Fair hauls, it was 5 hours driving. When we got there, we couldn't, prior to going there, we'd spoken to the manager. She's like, "Oh, you know, your units are empty." And we thought, wow, that's odd. You know, they haven't been empty before. Wonder what's going on. But she said, "Oh, you know, we're trying. It's just really flat. There's no one around." When we got there, we worked out why they were empty. The place was horrendous. The lawns hadn't been mowed. Like, there's weeds like this high. You couldn't walk through the place. It just looked disgusting. I went, wow, okay, there's a job to do.
Change agents is part of it.
Well, it's a little country town, right? There's one agent there. So we didn't have a choice, and don't worry, it was the first thing I looked at. So it was learn to manage these managers. You can't just sit back and say, "There's the property, go and do your job." So we did a very quick renovation on this. We leased them out straight away, and the guys that we leased them out to way back then are still in there. They're amazing guys. They're very happy with the place. The rent goes up just about every year, and they just keep renewing their lease. We have no problems with it anymore. We get a guy that swings past from council that mows the lawn for us and pulls a few weeds and gives us a ring and says, "You know, I'll just fix this while I'm here." Good work, right? So he's on the beer list at Christmas time, right? We just forget about this little place, right? But it's nicely positive. Can't argue with it. And it's a reminder of where we started the right way.
Okay. So it's an energy shift.
It was, absolutely it was. There's a lot of learning out of it. Even though it's only small and there's not a lot of money in it, you still learn a hell of a lot from going through the process.
So what was the next one you had to fix up? These industrial land.
So, no, this one here, the money that's in this, we only got money into the self-managed super fund that's set up all wrong, with a property in it set up wrong, because we sold the trucking business. So we had to put money somewhere. So this is where it went, right? And we bought this shed that we sat on because we no longer needed it because we didn't have any trucks, right? So that's good work. But we still leased it off ourselves. We had one truck at the time because they've never all gone. So we've always had one. So we still rented it off ourselves. The trucking business still rented it. It was about the same time then that you gave away the charcoal business. That's a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, after we sold the trucking business the first time, we had one of our clients who owed us a lot of money, went broke. So instead of throwing their hands in the air, I thought, well, I'll go back and do what I know best, stuff the world, here we go again. So we bought more trucks. And within...
We did.
12 months ago, we were in Vietnam.
Yep.
And they said about prophesying or something. I said, oh, well, the business will triple before we sell it next year, which it did.
Yeah.
So you can either sit on the floor and cry or get up and work. So that's what we did, and dug it out of the hole again. So
You sold the trucking business again.
I gave it away. Well, one of my subbies, his brother took him for a ride and he went bankrupt. So I said, listen, you pay me for the trucks and I'll give you the whole business. And that's what we did 2 months ago. The young fella that was working for me with the charcoal, 2 years ago, his wife up and left him for the 4th time with 2 little kids. So I said, here mate, I'll I'll train. I'll train you up, and I'll give you this business to get you on top of life again, which he's done.
So these two guys rent this shed office.
Okay.
Right? So Dave took on the charcoal business. So he's now got the flexibility in his life too. So a couple of weeks ago, Phil went delivering charcoal again. He's out there throwing bags of charcoal because we had always said when you want to take a break with your kids, just give us a yell, we'll help you out. It's never a big deal. So he leases a part of the shed. He works out of it. It all works really well for him, really well for us. The trucks that we sold for the second time, that went to Tim. Tim also rents a part of the shed, which works for us, it works for him. But he couldn't afford to buy all the trucks either because his brother had forced him into bankruptcy. So we did a deal with him that he came up with the money for part thereof, and the rest of it, we have a contract with him for $35,000 a year for 5 years as consulting fees. And he just pays that off and we just get paid and it works for everybody. So everyone's happy. Right? And we still have our nice little shed that serves a really good purpose that just keeps going up in value every time we put someone else in there. Oh, and we put storage units, storage containers in there. And we did that a little while ago. So our super fund makes money out of storage containers. Pretty cool.
Then you decided, now these are guys that every time I come up with some idea about this is such a good idea, these guys go and implement it. Now this was modular, but you picked the Northern Territory to go and do it in.
Well, it's because we had a deal up there already. We had a backyard that we could use, right? That wasn't making us any money, so we thought, wow, why not? Let's go and put something in the backyard on this property that's not even quite neutral, and we'll do import modular, see how we go with that. It was a lot of fun, right? We learned a lot out of this. We learned a huge amount out of this. It served a purpose again. Up there, rent is really, really expensive. So for us, this was about being able to provide a product that was affordable for the industry up there, for the market up there. But it had to be nice. This was not about being cheap and nasty and corrugated iron. So we went off to modular. We went China. We ended up in Thailand.
A lot of lessons learned.
It had its challenges, my gosh, it had its challenges, and we learned a lot along the way. We come up with a good product, we come up with a good end result. There's things that we would do differently next time when we do it again. We haven't written it off as a bad thing.
But we turned it into 14 grand positive cash flow.
Absolutely.
And increased in value.
And we can't argue with what we learned out of that at all.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, it's never been empty since the day it was finished.
Then one of those vacant blocks of land, I remember sitting around having a cup of tea and going, right, what are you going to do with those vacant blocks of land?
We come up with some interesting ideas on those vacant blocks of land, but we settled on storage. It was probably the safer out of all of them. Again, this area, it's an area there's a lot happening around there at the moment, so it's growing very quickly. There's quite a few storage units, and there's a massive need for it. So we spent a lot of time talking to people, and it was Coles supermarket, stand in line, having to wait, chat with someone about what is and isn't. And if you wanted to put your stuff in storage, if you needed to, what would you want? What were the bottom line things that you would have to put your stuff in storage? So it didn't take us long to work out what people wanted and what it was we needed to build, so they would use us in preference to anybody else in town. And off we went. We used a little local, I say garage builder. He was a shed builder. He wasn't a big ram builder or anything like that. He came in really good with his pricing, but he was fantastic to work with. A really good team of people again. And it didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. And it's nicely... For us, this one here, I think the big win out of this was flexibility. So it was flexible with size, but even the internal walls in it are movable. So we leased out all the big size first. So all the little ones, we went, oops, let's make them into big ones, right? Because that's what's moving at the moment. Which was really, but makes a big difference when you can throw flexibility into a deal. And that gives us a nice return.
So that turned one of those positive ones, one of those negative ones from 46 negative to 40 positive.
Plus still left us with over half of one of the blocks of land left.
Is that up here as to what you're going to do with that?
Yep.
All right. In the meanwhile, you bought a pub.
I did. We bought a pub.
Just because you can, you go and buy a pub.
I went to an auction. I'm not allowed to go to auctions anymore.
You let her loose on an auction?
I actually bid on it.
You bid on it, did you?
I made him bid on it, then it wasn't my fault. Right? I technically didn't buy it. But I'd been watching this for ages. I'd watched this pub for a while, and I had decided that I liked it. I wanted this pub. There's got some massive uplifts with this that I wanted. So we just had to sit and wait. The agent was hard work. He wouldn't give us information on it. And the day of auction, he came to us and he said, guys, don't bid. He said, we can sort this out in my office on Monday, right? He said, there's only 2 other people here that are even interested in it, and I've told them the same.
Why would you not?
I'm like, what? He's gone and told all 3 of us that we'll meet in his office and we'll flog this out on Monday. So I said to Phil, we're bidding. I said, I want to control this, right? I said, we're bidding. If they listen to him, that's their problem. So we were the only bid. Didn't come close. Right, he went back to the owner, and the owner said no, not even remotely close.
But because you bid, you're the one they have to negotiate with first.
Yep.
So we put a bid in of 810, and he came back and he said he wants $1 million. And I said to him, no. I said, we're not going to pay $1 million for it. I said, no way. I said, look, let's just not muck around. Let's cut to the chase here. My final offer to you is 900. I said, you can take it back to me, you can think about it, but that's us done, right? I don't know, it took about a week of him ringing saying, you've got to pay more, you've got to do more. No, he won't accept it. And I said, I'm done, mate, it's 900. So he came back and he said, I hope you're going to look after my pub. You've just got it at 900. So we were happy. It's positive from day one.
And the upside on this?
Well, it's got 11 rooms upstairs, right? And they don't
Which can be made into 13.
Sorry?
Which can be made into 13. The lounge room, which is so
the
big.
The layout upstairs is not a pretty 11 rooms already done. It's got a little bit of work to do to it. But there's 11 rooms up there. Now, they don't use them. There's one room that he used occasionally when he came and stayed when he worked, and that was it. So with the current owner, I'd already negotiated with him to take the rooms upstairs. We'll renovate them. We'll make it external access so we don't have to worry about people coming through the pub after hours and all the rest of it. But we'll give him a kickback for...
So you've leased the pub? You've got a tenant that's leasing the pub?
Yeah. So the business owner there, the guy that owns the business that operates the pub itself, the deal with him was 10% of everything that we earned goes back to him. His rent stays the same. And we took the backyard as well because it's just too much work for him. So he was happy with that, but he's just sold the business. So I've just been cutting a deal with the new owners. And I said to him, it's really good for business because you're going to get work out of this as far as meals and this is for workers' accommodation. It's not just like Airbnb or standard in and out continually. So we hadn't even got to 10% and he's going, hell yeah, take them. We don't want to think about that. But we get meals, we get drinks. And I said to him, great, we'll just catch up and we'll, write a few notes out of what we're going to do and I'll have the lease altered. So it's all done and dusted for your purchase. He said, good, yeah, thanks very much, no problems. Off to the emails. Thank you very much. So we will take control of that for near nothing.
Nothing.
For not a lot, yeah.
Good. And it's still
so
positive.
I'm happy with that. Hey, and it's still positive from day one.
What are you going to do with the land out the back?
Bottle shop.
Bottle shop.
And units or something.
Yeah, we'll put units
above the bottle shop.
No, along the boundary, high rise, and then car park underneath to fit as many in as we can.
Good. He won't be too keen about the bottle shop though, will he?
Pardon?
The publican won't be too keen about the bottle shop?
No, he doesn't mind at all. He doesn't mind at all. And I said to him, we don't want to run it, right? But let's talk about what this will do to the lease.
Okay.
Right? Because I don't want to work it. No. I just want to build it and get some more money for it.
So you got a bit of a yen for this sort of thing, so you thought, let's go and buy a guest house.
Yes. It was ugly. My God, it was ugly. Again, I'd seen this for a while and I'd been watching it and went, wow, it's been on the market for a long time and we went and saw it and I've just thought, hell, now I know it's been on the market for a long time. There's not much to say about it. It was ugly. The flow on this was terrible. When you walk through a place, it either feels good or it just doesn't. This didn't. It was a rabbit warren. It had been add-on after add-on after add-on. And the lovely lady that owned it, she had gone into this with her father, and her father had got sick and they were unable to take it to the level that they wanted to. So she had just sat on it doing nothing with it for years. The business was at a point where the laundromat made more money than what the actual accommodation side of things did, which was pretty harsh on her, and she was done. She just wanted out. Now, we couldn't offer her a lot because it wasn't worth a lot. And we had to consider how we were going to make it work for us and be able to give her what she wanted. Ultimately, she wanted out. We offered her what we felt was a fair and reasonable price, and she took it. She took it and ran. I can understand why. Anyway, it was good. It was good for us because we saw the potential with it, and it had a lot of opportunity. This wasn't just had to be a motel. We could have gone rooming house or boarding house with it. We could have done workers' accommodation. There's various things we could have done. There's a massive, massive need in the area for motel accommodation. So we thought, well, why not? Let's have a crack. So that's what we did. So we actually closed for renovation in July. We stayed open for 2 months after we bought it because there had been some bookings already in the system. July we shut down for renovation. End of August we went to Africa. We were away for 5 weeks and we opened up in October. Right?
We opened in October, but our first tenants comes through in September.
Yeah, no. October they came through.
Was it?
Yeah, because we didn't get back until October, mate. Yeah. Oof,
It was October 20th.
Yeah. So our first guests came in for the Food and Wine Festival. Now, they'd stayed in this place for something like, it's either 9 or 11 years in a row because they could never get anything else in town. And they've just come in and gone, holy shit, it's totally different. Where are all the things that were here? And where's that god ugly painting of faulty towers that was on the wall? And what have you done? So they were really excited. But when they stayed, we didn't have the bar finished. We served alcohol to them because that's what you do in the country, but the bar wasn't quite finished. But that's okay. So these guys, before they left, they rebooked for the next year. They booked all 13 rooms, and they've booked all 13 rooms for Easter as well. Right? They're bringing their family and some Swedish friends for Easter. Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's a little bit exciting. So we finally got the bar finished and coffee.
So what's the money on this? What do you make out of it?
Okay, that's really interesting. So what do we make out of it? As it sits at the moment, about $200,000 in equity in it. From the
and cash
business. From the business side of things, when we did the numbers, we were really, really conservative on this and said if we get our interest on all of our money and our bar turns over 30 grand a year, which was a big underestimation, but that's okay. Worst case is we'll look at about 30,000 profit over and above all of our costs.
What do you really think?
I'll do that in the first quarter. I'll have no problem with that at all. I have no
You'll
issue
do
with
30
that
grand in the first quarter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
so we're talking 120 positive cash flow?
Yeah, without any problems at all. Yeah, that'll be nice. And then we'll sell the business off.
And that's fully managed as well.
Yeah, that's not, I'm not working this place forever. This is 12 months into this business, so we'll get good business figures on it. We'll sell the business off. We'll keep the building and the laundromat because the laundromat's just this little gold mine. It's a honey. It just is. And it serves a really good purpose. It's very interesting. We put a little sign up because people out of the laundromat would go across the road to the service station and get coffee. I said, hold on a sec, mate, we've just got a coffee machine. Come on in. So they put their laundry in and they either come and have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. I can't argue with it. It works well.
And you organised a big pre-launch party. You got all the town involved. And
yeah, we had a lot of fun. Opening day was a whole lot of fun there, and it created a massive buzz around town. There was a lot of excitement about it. Couldn't really have asked for a better day. We had Brooke. There she is. So Brooke came up for our opening. She came the night before and she stayed, and she really got hands-on and making chips and serving food, and it was a lot of fun. It was a whole lot of fun. So from there it's just been a beautiful ripple effect. Nice accommodation, lots of pre-bookings for next year, and
it's on a double block too.
It's on a beautiful double block. Right? We actually realigned the boundary on that, so we've taken this out to the smallest footprint we could with the inclusions of car parking space we needed, and we're keeping the other vacant block.
Yep.
We went, well, we've looked at what we're going to do. We've said, we may do more accommodation. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, we'll put storage units on it. It's something else in that town that there's a need for, so either either.
And the laundromat that was at the front of the property, you're now looking at focusing on that. You're putting in more washing machines.
Yeah,
and the cash flow from that alone is...
So we were doing stage 1, 2 and 3. What happened is we pulled stage 1 and 2 into stage 1. And stage 3 is we go up above the laundromat, and it was an old squash court, and it still has the squash courts. So we're putting a mezzanine floor in there, and above that's workers' accommodation. Underneath it will be dining room for the restaurant, and it will give us the room to expand the laundromat, put a few more washing machines and dryers and folding tables and maybe a Coke machine or something in there. All of those things that you have.
How much cash flow do you pull in per year from the laundromat?
About $160 per day on average. That's without, yeah.
That's with 5 washing machines, and that was with 3 dryers. But now we've now put in 2 more dryers, but no dryers are getting used because it's summer.
Yeah, so it's now is where all the washing machines will go a million mile an hour because it's lots of tank water up there, and they hit major water shortage. So the laundromat goes flat out. We're not on tank water. And then wintertime, the dryers just do not stop. And people, very funny, Saturday morning at 7 o'clock are coming in with their washing but that's my dryer. I use that every Saturday morning at this time. What's going on? That's okay. Coffee's open. Go and have a coffee.
Go and have a coffee.
Yeah. When we first took it over, it was bringing 110 a week. Sorry, 110 a day.
Yeah. We made one change.
We opened it 24/7 and went to 160.
Yeah.
So then we're going to a block of shops.
They were ugly as well. Right? This was an auction. This is why I'm not allowed to go to auctions anymore. This one I'd seen, and it was just one of those deals that I'd seen and gone, wow, that's a good deal. But I'm a bit busy. Right? I'm very busy at the moment. But I looked at it again and again, and so I thought, look, I'll just get the information on it. I'll ring up and check it out, see what it's about. So the agent sends me out the information. I went, no, that's not bad. She goes to auction in 2 weeks. And I'd had a look through it, and I said to Phil, come on, we'll go to the auction. We'll just go and see what it's about. We'll check out who's who and what's happening and what sort of prices they're pulling. And we got down there, and there was not one bid, and absolutely nothing happened. So when this happened, all the people at the auction, so all of the real estate guys at the auction are all racing around madly trying to get someone to put a bid in, and everyone's going, no, 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 no. One guy said, I want to buy a portion of it. I'm happy to buy a portion. This is the part that I want, but I can't afford to buy it all. And they just outrightly said, no, no negotiating, this is what it is. And they were hoping to get high 4, close to 5 mil for it. Anyway, it didn't sell, and we left. Good girl that I was, got in the car and we drove off. Phil nearly ran over one of the real estate guys on the way out. They were working hard, right? They were really working hard. So anyway, we left and we got a phone call that said, I've got one offer and it's low. Are you interested in putting an offer in? And I said to him, how long have I got? He said, I'll give you till 9 o'clock in the morning. I said, all right, thanks. So it was home and it was crunch numbers. So what can I make work? How can I do this? I'd walked through it and I went, it feels good. I could picture exactly what this place was going to look like finished, from start to finish, the colours, absolutely everything. And I said, there's money here, there's absolute another money here. I need to work out how I can do this. So from that point in time, there was a few phone calls made and crunched numbers, and you know what, there's good money in this, there's very good money in it. So I ran worst case scenario a dozen times. So what happens if, and if they don't sell, and what am I going to do, and hell, I can't finance this, what are you going to do? So I had a dozen different scenarios. I put an offer in, and he said, I'll ring you back. And I said, okay, no problems. And I went back to doing what I was doing. He rings back and he said, when can you come and sign the contract?
So what was the offer?
3.85. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, 2 o'clock? So it was quite funny because I said to Phil, I'm just taking a cheque for $385,000.
Can I have your chequebook? Please sign a cheque.
Phil was just going to me, Jesus. I said, it's
but there was no
fine,
money in
don't
the
worry
account.
about it. I said, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's okay. That was a platinum night.
Yeah.
It was, yes. I had actually got them to meet me where we have our platinum events at 2 o'clock when we signed contracts. I handed the cheque over. I went, right, okay, now you've got a job to do. How are you going to do this? And so my whole strategy on this was my big push. So I think the next offer was 3.7. So I gave them 150,000 more, but I had asked for a 6-month settlement. And he said, no way. And I said, okay, then well, that's it. That's my offer. I'm done. He came back and he said 5 months. And I said, all right, I'll take it. 5 months just means you've got to work a little bit faster. So my whole idea on this was I was never going to buy it. I was never going to settle on it. I had to sell it on the same day that we had to settle on it because, shit, I didn't have nearly $4 million. It's an interesting concept, right? There was not one moment from when we handed that cheque over until settlement that I didn't believe that it could be done. Not one waking moment, right? And we didn't. I never actually owned them. Never owned any of these. We did simultaneous settlements. And it's not easy. Believe you me, it's not easy because all of a sudden there's a lot of paperwork going on. But it's possible. It really is possible. So we bought these very grotty, very ugly shops, and the biggest job with these was cleaning and painting. Right?
We did it 22 days, 18 to 20-hour days, and had it all finished and up for ready for auction.
Yeah, we didn't do the painting and stuff ourselves. We got painters in, right? We cleaned the floors up, and the floors were painted as well. A little bit of tiling work in the arcade. What we did was we cleaned it from top to bottom, and this guy, he would lock tenants out and he would keep their stuff. So one of the rooms was just full. One of the whole shops was full of all this equipment that he wouldn't get rid of. And he wanted us to sell it. He wanted us to take to the auctions for him, which we did, and they said, we're not taking that rubbish. Take it back with you. So ultimately, most of what was in there was actually tipped. It was hard work getting rid of all of it. At times, it's hard work working with an owner. Especially when you're improving a property. But that's all right. There's nothing that's not doable. There's challenges. No matter how big or small the deal is, there's always going to be challenges. You've just got to be able to look for solutions. And I say just don't get emotional. Right? If you let emotions get involved in it, all of a sudden you start making decisions that aren't necessarily good decisions. There were a few times through this we had to take a step back and go, hold on a sec, what's going on here? Where are we at? Because we have a game plan and we have a very specific game plan on what we need to achieve. We had an amazing agent. He worked exceptionally well with us. So I think it was from the day we signed the paperwork to allow us access to the property, to renovate and prepare for sale, until we went to auction to sell them was 10 weeks. And we went to auction. And day of auction, we're pumped, right? All is good. Everything's going to go magically. And there was not a bid. Not a bid, right? I was expecting, and I'll be honest, I was expecting that I'm going to go, oh my God, no, what are we going to do? But it wasn't like that. It's quite a surreal feeling to take a step back and go, okay, well, that's no problem. So we've got a strategy, right? We'd already pre-thought that if these don't sell at auctions, because by this stage we were only targeting owner-occupier. If they don't sell at auction, what are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do is we've got a huge list of people that want to rent these. We're going to put tenants in, and then we're going to sell them to investors, right? That was our strategy. So the day of auction when they didn't sell, it was not the end of the world, because we already knew what our next step was going to be. It didn't take long. As soon as the auction was over, the agent went, okay, so who's here to buy something? Who's here to buy a shop? Well, these people just line up in front of him. Go, us. We're here, we're done. They were Vietnamese, and they just weren't interested in auctioning, right? They were happy to buy. So within 2 hours, 5 of them were sold. The next day, the other 2 went. It was not quite as devastating as what it looked at the time. So yeah, so...
There's some interesting things there. Go on, Phil.
Plus, we ended up selling the out the back there. That's the rear of the building. There was 3 car parks there, and they got sold for a pretty sum as well.
Yeah, we sold the car park. So it was not much we didn't sell.
You didn't get rid of it all, though, did you?
No, we didn't. We did keep one portion of it. I kept the air above the building, which I do... Look, I go, it's interesting. It's thin air, right? Who would think that you can actually own it? But you can. Absolutely you can. So this was something that we spoke about and thought about all the way through our I say, reno process. Spent a lot of time with the legal team on this. And we tied it up with a 99-year lease first. And we said, and plus we want the air rights title. So we want a clear title over this. Because we were never going to own them, we couldn't do it at the time, and because the owner was never going to sign anything for us because we were just making money out of his property, we had to wait till settlement before we could actually start the process of obtaining that air right title, which is not the end of the world. We weren't in a hurry for that. It cost us nothing. So that's what we kept. We kept the air above it to maximum building height. It's got a sign on it, but we actually had looked at a 4-panel digital sign. Anyway, so we do all the numbers on this, and this was going to return us $60,000 a year. And we sort of ballpark 10% cap rate. That'll give us $600,000 in value. That's not bad for thin air. But then I sit down with the agent, and we met with an advertising guy, and he said, yeah, that's really cool, that's really good. But why that sign? Because if you put one of these signs up, he said, the worst case you're going to get is $70,000 a year. He said, best case, he said, you know, we can push it up to 80, 90, 100,000 a year. And I went, why am I doing one of those when I can do one of those? So that's the one that we're doing, which is, it's a scrolling advertising sign, which will be pretty cool. That'll sit there quite nicely until we decide that we're going to build above it. So we're going for DA.
So let's just look at the figures here. You bought it for 3.8.
3.85.
You spent how much on it?
Oh, 100 odd.
150, I think it was.
Yeah, 150. Yeah.
Reno was about 90, and all the other costs will be about 50 or 60 grand.
And then you sold all of the units.
Yep.
For all of the shops. For what?
4 something, 4.6 or something.
4.6 or something.
Something like that.
So the profit's around 500?
Yeah, we actually netted out of that 419,000.
490? 19,000.
That was
but
after
you've still
all
got the air rights.
I got the air rights in the car parks on top of that.
Bringing you in 100 odd K.
Yeah, that'll bring us. Yep, we're happy to say that we'll push that out to 100K, and it'll cost me 100,000 to do it.
It'll cost you?
$100,000 for that sign.
So it'll pay itself off in a year?
Yes. That's a nice
And what about the solar?
Yeah, the solar's another. I like solar. Again, the concept that we're going through is not all about maximising the amount of money we get in year one, but making sure that the profit that we get is continual and the cost doesn't change. So our solar system that's being set up for that will pay itself off. So we put no money into this at all, not a cent, not a anything. It will pay itself off in 10 years, giving us $5,000 a year for every year for the first 10 years, and then upward of 20 thereon after.
And you sell the power to your tenants?
Yes.
And they have to buy it?
Well, they do. When I say they have to, I can't tell them that they have to, but I can make it possible that there really isn't any other option.
And it's cheaper for them anyway.
It's absolutely it is. This is not about selling them ridiculously expensive power. This is cheaper than what they're buying it for now. So it's absolutely a win-win situation for them.
So 500 odd grand profit and a cash flow of 100 or more.
Yeah.
With the potential to actually build up.
Yeah, so we're getting DA for
another story.
3 stories.
True, we can go to 14 metres.
All right,
Yes.
so there's the numbers on Deer Park. Not too bad. Let's go to that wasted piece of industrial land beside the storage sheds, but we
Yes.
need to move along.
This was the other side of that piece of land that was costing us a lot of money. It was where to? What else is there a need for? And we hummed and hawed about warehousing and various different things in the area, keeping in mind that at the time this industrial area wasn't doing anything. It was still quite flat. In fact, there was only a couple of buildings in it, and we were one of them. This made sense. This was talking to the likes of Kevin Dudney and definitely Dimpner about what else can you do? It's always to be more than one thing. What is there a need for? What's going to work? And this is kind of what we came up with, which is a house on top of a warehouse. And warehouse isn't just warehousing where you store stuff in it, this is where you work out of. So this was about bringing family back home and being able to spend time with their kids and all the things that we say we are doing property for, so you buy time. But again, if you're going to ask a female to live on top of a factory, you're going to want to give her something nice to live in, right? Otherwise it's never going to last. So we designed these. Now, the design, I'm really happy. I'd live in it. I'd have no problems living in it whatsoever, right? There's enough space. There's plenty of outdoor room. The security's fantastic. It's close to work. It's very affordable for what it is. But you try selling something that no one knows about, pre-selling. It's not easy. So we've had over 1,000 inquiries on these, right? But everyone wants to see it first. Right? It's like, great. Okay, looks like we have to build one. So that's what we're doing. We pushed through marketing for a long time. I say last year we spent a lot of time working on us and marketing this. So we said that's it, bite the bullet. I believe in it enough to throw our money at it and say let's build it. Let's just see what happens. What's worst case scenario? I end up with an office, an apartment, and I'll lease out the shed and we'll put storage units behind it. There's lots of other strategies we can implement if it doesn't take off the way we believe it will. But I believe
estimated profit in this one, if it comes through the way you want it to?
If this comes through the way we want it to, I don't think a minimum.
We've pushed the value of them up, haven't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. 4 to 6.
4 to 600,000.
4 to 600,000. On these ones, the builder we engaged, we had a chat with him and he said, yeah, I agree with you, these need to be high end. This is a different market you're going to be targeting. So now let's talk about adding a few extra things in. And he said, and we're putting the price of them up as well. He said, this is the way it's going to work. And we've spent a lot of time working with him and getting to a point where we're really comfortable with what we're producing. For him, he said, this is about reputation. Right? He said, these need to be absolutely and utterly perfect. He said, they really absolutely do. And he said, and I wouldn't be getting involved if I didn't believe in them. He said, very, very simple. So he's really keen. So we're really excited. That's January. We've got a date set to start in January. So that's the start of 2018.
Very good.
Yeah, but exciting.
So this is another Greenfield idea that you come up with, which is basically the very small affordable spacing, which is what we've been talking about all weekend. Bit of trouble getting through council, but ultimately you've got the DA approved now.
Yeah, it took us 2 years.
2 year fight.
I love this. It just works, right? It ticks so many boxes for me. Yes, it's smaller, but it's affordable. It's going to suit the needs of so many people, but council just didn't like the concept of it's affordable and it's small. So they fought about it for quite a while. That's not ultimately where the time waste ended up being. It was one of the objectives took us to VCAT, so it was another 6 months down the track. We stuck at it because, again, it was a project we believed in and believed in the need for it, and it's a give back. You know, so many people will gain out of this. We can make very good money out of this and sell the one-bedroom ones for under $200,000, all decked out, absolutely magic. They have a gardener that comes in and all of these other things that go with it. So for our area and the price hikes in our area and what rental is and all the rest of it, this is going to be really exciting for a lot of people.
And
not just the young.
Very excited too, aren't they?
The agents have just been screaming. They've just been, for Christ's sake, will you get this built? Like, what's going on? So they've been very supportive through the whole VCAT process and through council. Like, they supported us 100% because it's a massive, massive need for it. And again, it was using land that's no good. It's the back of a block. It's not great land, not by any stretch, but it's certainly usable. So
it's using what you already had.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
You bought it because you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the time.
So this one we're considering a few options with the build on how we're going to do it, which is, again, is a bit exciting. We're looking at modular, well, flat pack and all sorts of things.
Yep.
So, yeah, I like this.
$380,000 to $400,000 profit if you sell them all.
Yep.
So a few other things have obviously happened for you guys through the process, which you partially talked about before, being selling the trucks twice, giving up a charcoal business to somebody who needed something, giving the trucks to somebody else who needed something. Bit of a pattern kind of emerging here. I think it's important to really understand this story by understanding your background. You've had a very different upbringing to most.
Yeah, you may say, yes. Well, I was a market gardener for quite a few years.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part. Built a big business, my brother and me.
That's an easy part too.
Yeah. I was married with 4 children, and I got kicked out of a church at the age of 32.
It was a bit more than church, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, cult. So basically walked away with nothing, gave my wife the house, the car, all the money.
So hang on, it was with the Brotherhood. A very strict version thereof.
It was the...
You were born into it.
I was born into it, yeah, so...
And in that environment, you're married within, you weren't allowed to associate with anybody else or anything like that?
There was no TV, no radios.
You're not allowed to associate with anyone else?
No, you're not allowed to go to a pub.
And now he owns one.
No mobile phone.
No mobile phone. You're not even supposed to run a business, really, are you?
No, you're allowed to run a business.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that wasn't a problem. But anyway, I got kicked out for working too hard.
Yeah, just hang on. So you're running a business. You've got a mobile phone that you have to smuggle in because you've got to run a business. You're taking stuff to the markets.
Yeah, I was a market person, so I'd leave about 11 o'clock at night after I finished work at 10, and I'd go to market, but I'd sell half my load of... we usually ran 2 trucks, sometimes 3, into market, and I'd sell over half my stock from when I left home to by the time I got to market. And my brother got called up to... they asked my brother, who I'm in partnership with, they said, "Oh, where's Phil? I can't get hold of him. He's at the market." "Oh, look, I'll just ring his mobile."
Whoops.
So I ended up... I had it in everybody else's name, so I couldn't get caught.
But part of the thing was also that you had to go to church every morning, and you weren't
every night.
You weren't there to go to church.
You're supposed to go to church every night, 7 days a week, all day Sunday. I was working about 130, 140 hours a week, every week. And, yeah...
So you were the troublemaker?
Yeah, because I worked too hard. So I was told I was lazy, and I got kicked out of the church. So when I got kicked out, that meant I got kicked out of... I couldn't be with any of the family. So I lost me...
Wife, kids.
And along this,
Everybody
he had
knew.
no problems with any of his children or his wife, his family. They were a happy family. Everything was going absolutely beautifully. Right? There was not a problem in the way. Even with his wife, there was not an issue whatsoever.
So anyway, I gave the house, signed the house over to my wife and the car, all the money, and I took the truck that I just bought for the farm and my bag of clothes and said, "Oh well, we'll start again."
And your wife decided to stay in the cult?
Yeah, she stayed there with the children.
And you couldn't communicate with them at all?
No,
contact?
No contact allowed.
So your need to help other people really has come from not being able to be a father to those kids and a part of their lives, etc. So
That's
you've kind
right.
of adopted a few along the way.
Yeah, so I get more pleasure out of helping people than helping myself, so... yeah.
Some of your kids sneak out now, though, to talk to you, don't they?
They do, yes, yeah.
It's like father, like son.
Yeah. So, you know, look, everyone has a story and...
You've never shared this before, though, have you?
No. Yeah, you can either just sit down and whinge, or, you know, complain, or get on with life and get up and get going. Probably the biggest thing that they, when I got told not to come back onto the property again because I'd have a court order against me onto the farm. They just said, oh, well, you'll come back anyway because you'll come back as a pauper and a beggar. And I turned around and I just said... and away I went, and within... so within 8 years, I'd grown a transport business with over, I don't know, what would it be, $1 million, $2 million assets, plus no debt. And
you had the hots for the girl who worked in the office.
I met this...
We used to load each other's trucks. So that's how we met. We used to load each
she
other's
ran
trucks.
a transport produce business, and until she got the shits with the owner and left. Then we lost contact for about 3 years, and then ran into each other on the side of the road one day when she tore past me at 170 k's an hour.
He did. He rang me and he said, "Was that you that went past?"
And so we met again in 2010 on just after Black Saturday, because she thought we were burnt to death in a fire, which started just behind the property where I was living. Then got married in Broome on the beach in 2012, October 26th.
What do you think the Brotherhood would think of your life now? What do you think they'd think of Blondie over here?
A million miles an hour.
My dad quite likes her.
I don't think the church would approve, though.
Yeah. So, never say never, because you can always do it.
This has been a big thing for you to share this.
Yeah.
Today.
But always, like, when we first started was we did our peg in the sand. And usually each Christmas we pull out our book, the pair of us, and we've actually met each of our goals that we've set for 5 years, so...
You guys also do some charity work?
Yeah. This is my wife's doing. So between all our deals, she managed to do this at Yarrawonga.
We have a group of people that fly. A lot of them
You've
have
got
their
your
own
commercial
planes.
pilot's licence.
So I've got my commercial pilot's licence, yes.
That's why she goes a million miles an hour.
We decided that it would be a really cool idea to be able to give kids that don't have the benefits that we have a day out, a day away from their life. So it's not just the sick kids, it's the whole family, because everyone's affected by it. So we went to work, and I got a whole group of people together that either owned their own planes or could get their hands on them, and we organised a big charity day up in Yarrawonga where we flew all these kids up there, and there was face painting and jumping castles and music and all kinds of stuff, and we did joy flights. Right, so it was. Well, we raised a bit of money as well for Variety, which was a very cool thing. But it was just absolutely and utterly such an amazing day to see the looks on their faces. They were so excited. But it was more than that. They were no longer caught up in their own problems and their own issues that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And like I said, not just them, it's the whole family. the amount of people that donated time, money, planes to this was just crazy. It was just absolutely amazing. We had fuel companies that donated thousands of litres of gas. We had a jet donated, right, which I got to fly. That was just, for me, that was a wow, right? That was really, really cool. But all of these planes were donated.
That's the jet there on the top right,
Yeah.
which you'll see some more photos.
Yeah.
Another one, is it?
Sorry?
Is that this one?
Yeah, this is it. This is Melissa taking off, taking the kids back to Melbourne to Essendon. Here she goes. She's gone.
There she's gone.
There she's gone.
That was a very, very rewarding day. Yeah. Very cool.
So your final results, where do we end up for the, 4 years or something?
No, 3.
3 years.
3 and a bit years, yeah.
Okay, so we have value of 6.5, equity of 3.1, chunk money of a bit over 400, and we've 50 positive because we still haven't turned some of the negative land into positive yet. That's 2018.
Yeah.
Plus we have our signage on top of that, and our business 33,000 a year, which is
Plus the super fund
Which is
is
really
a separate one.
plus 77 in the super fund.
77 on the super fund per
So,
year.
so really, 77 on the super fund, plus the 50, plus 100 on the signs, plus another 120 on the guest house
Yeah.
And the solar.
and the solar. We didn't count that.
Yeah, there. No, I didn't count that. I didn't put all
No,
that
so
in.
the figures are totally wrong. Yeah.
You didn't give me a lot of time, right? I tell you, shit, it was hard. It was
It's
a really
nearly
interesting
400.
process going through this, though, to just to
Yeah.
go, now I know why I feel tired, right? It's been a little bit busy, absolutely, yeah.
So our aim was by July this coming year, in 6 months' time, was be 200 passive, but we've exceeded that
I
by
think we've
double.
already done that.
And we
You've
gave up
already done
work,
that.
right? We actually gave up work. So what we do now is by choice. So like I said, we just went away on holiday. We do it a couple of times. But when I say we don't work while we're away, we do. There's still a laptop and you chill out and you still take care of things, but it's by choice. It's the lifestyle that we wanted to create. And we've managed to do it. So a couple of thank yous. I'm going to be really quick. Dee, without you, it wouldn't happen.
Thank you.
And we say this because the impact that you have is just phenomenal. It really is. And it's not about the numbers, it's not about the property. It just goes so far beyond that. To everyone in the I Love Real Estate community, right? Each and every one of you have an impact on someone else. Don't forget it. It's all about a smile. It's all about a hey, how's it going? You'd be surprised what impact it has and what difference it makes. To you guys, you're there every step of the way, right? You are the support that's there continually. And yeah, without anywhere near the credit that you guys deserve, because you give up so much time to do it and very selflessly. So thank you very much. And I've got to thank my husband because I know I'm not easy, right? He puts up with a lot, he does, right? And it's quite challenging for him at times. But he is my support group, 110%. And he is always there right beside me. So very, very grateful for that. Very, very thank you.
Good on you, huh?
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Give a big round of applause.
You. Thank you.
Well done. Awesome.
Thank you.
You did it.
Well done.
You did it.
You did.